Alrighty, hello everyone, this is Nancy from the class. I am recording using a different software called Debut Video Capture, so hopefully this will work. It might be a little bit faster than what I was using before, which is the Flashback Express, so bear with me. Alrighty, I was going to go ahead and open everything and have it ready for you so that you could just get started with the first question, but you know what? I want you to feel my pain. I want you to understand that things don't always work smoothly, and sometimes things are very slow and they don't work the first time, and that's okay. So what we're going to be working on right now is ALM. We are going to be signing on to ALM, opening it up, signing on to the regular ALM, not the admin. We're going to sign on as the Business Analyst, and we're going to create requirements for our homework. You're looking at the homework right here. This is the page that shows the requirements, the things that we're supposed to use to create our test, and we'll get into that as we go. So here we go. In order to get into ALM, you're going to have to open up your VMware player, and all of this will take longer than you think it should, even if you have a good laptop. Highlight your Windows Professional XP, because that's what we're going to be doing. Play Virtual Machine. And just as if it were a real computer, it's going to open and start loading. Slowly, very, very slowly. So while that's doing that, let's go over our requirements a little bit. When Jay set up the homework, he said, hey, this is the requirements. So this is what is supposed to be able to be done on this website, and you have to test to see if it actually works as it is supposed to. So we're going to create requests, we're going to create requirements, and they're going to create tests based on those requirements, and we're going to ensure that everything works, and if it doesn't, excuse me, and if it doesn't, then we are going to log that as a defect. So we're going to do one step at a time. I'm going to try and make this first video around 15 or 20 minutes, depends on how long it takes for everything to open. As you can see now, I have my VMware desktop open. My real desktop is over here somewhere. I'm not going to open it because if I open too much stuff on here, my computer gets a little wonky. Another thing that you're absolutely going to have to open when you are working is some sort of clipping program, because you have to cut and paste. You have to document what you're doing. You have to document every step and save it to a Word document. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select something called Snip. And I don't remember if Snip is already installed on my computer, if I had to install it, but it's a free thing, so it's easy to find. So Snip and Snip. As you can see, Snip's going to live at the top of your computer here. And if you're not actually hovering over it, it will be just a tiny little black strip, so it will be out of your way. So now we have open the homework, so we know what we're doing. Excuse me. We have open our VMware, and we have open our clip software here. So the first thing we need to do is sign on to ALM. We have a couple of things. We have site administration. That is not what we need to sign on as. As long as you remember who you created as your business administrator and what the password is, then you don't need to go here to find and see that. I'm going to assume you did that. If not, I can go back and do another video on that. So you want to sign on to ALM. Bear with my little laptop here. It's not an old one, but sometimes it's a little funky. This is a good time for you to go and get a cup of coffee, because it always takes a long time. Let me try opening it from here. Sometimes the double click doesn't work for me, so I right click and then I hit open, and then it works. The next issue that you're going to come up on is a lot of times when you're trying to connect the first time around, it won't connect for you. So you have to X out of it here and then open it again. The first time I did this morning, I had to do it like 3 or 4 times. So if that happens to you, do not be discouraged. Just keep on until it allows you to do so. You can see that it should work now because it said the website was found and it's waiting for a reply and is trying to load. Yes, it is slow, and that's to be expected. Sometimes the connection may time out if it is too slow, but hopefully it's going to be quick enough here so that it does not do that. Okay, so it found Quality Center. Very good. Like I said, I want you to feel my pain here so that whenever it's taking longer than you think it will, that you won't freak out and go, what am I doing wrong? It's always going to be slow. Remember, the ALM that we're using and the Word that we're using and the Windows that we're using is an older version. We're using XP. We're not using Windows 10. So it's not going to be the fastest thing in the world. Okay, so here we are at our login screen. As I said, the first time when you sign in, you have to sign in as the business administrator, not as a tester, because a business administrator is the person who is going to create the requirements. So I know for a fact that I have myself set as the business administrator, and I'm going to sign in. ABC, zippity-doo-dah, authenticate. And once again, we hurry up and wait. You can look down here in the lower left-hand corner and you see that blue bar coming and going. That shows you that it's doing something. And finally, we are here. First, I have to delete this because you know what I did? I signed on and did this whole video earlier, and then the sound was not working on the software that I was using to record, which is why I'm using a different software now. So, God willing, this one will work. Alrighty, first of all, I want you to ignore everything you see here, this Edmunds Auto Calculator app, because that's for my actual homework. And I want to actually create the stuff so you can see me doing it as I do it rather than have it all recreated and me just point to it, because it'll be easier for you to see the steps that you're going through. Okay, so I am now signed on as the Business Analyst, which is the first thing we're supposed to do on the homework. I am at the Requirements folder, Requirements tab, module, whatever you want to call it. And now I have to create my structure for creating tests. So the first thing you have to do is create your requirements. What are we going to do? The first folder, what are we working on? Are we working on People in Tech Forum? No, we're not working on People in Tech Forum. We're working on the Edmunds website. So, Edmunds Auto website. So now we know what website we're working on. Now, I could start creating my requirements right under this, but in the real world, if you're working on the Edmunds Auto website, there's going to be more than one page that you're going to be working on. Maybe you're working on the calculator. Maybe Johnny is working on something else. So we're going to be working on this page right here, but maybe later you're going to be working on the price promise page. And another time you're going to be working on the help page to see if that works. So what I did is just said, well, I'm going to create another folder under here to tell it that we're working on the auto price calculators page. You don't have to do that. I just did it because I felt like it will help me keep organized a little bit. Alrighty. Now, the important thing to note is we're going to start creating our requirements under here. Make sure that you do not have this highlighted, because if you have this highlighted and you're going to create something, then it will come up at the same level. It will not be a child of Auto Price Calculators. It will be a child of Edmunds. So right now we have Edmunds as our parent, Auto Price Calculators as our child, and under that child we want to give it a child also, which will be our requirements. Now, according to our homework, we are supposed to create 10 tests based on these requirements. We have these constraints. The maximum monthly field accepts a maximum of 14 characters. They must all be numerals. In other words, you can't write the word FIVE in there. The zip code field accepts a maximum of 5 digits. You know, we have the zip code 5 plus 4, like 22401-4869 or something like that. This one doesn't do that. The long-term drop-down list will include only the following values. The interest rate field only accepts numerals in the form of x.xx. So if you try and put x or x.x, in other words, if you put 3.58 as your interest rate, it should accept that. If you put 3.4 with nothing else after that as your interest rate, it should not accept that. Then under the value of your trade-in, the amount owed in the cash down payment fields, it should only accept numerals. Once again, you can put in 5000 to represent the number 5,000, but you cannot write the word 5,000. And then under the what can I afford calculator, it should put the inputs and produce a maximum price. That's just saying the page works properly. And the max price will be in US dollar format and will be black. And I'll have a dollar sign in front of it. So this is everything that's supposed to happen. So we've analyzed it, right? Now, first things first, I want to say, I am a student like you. I haven't even gotten my grade back on this test, so I have no idea how I did. So take everything with a grain of salt, and don't forget what you learned from the teacher, who is Jay, not me. And if I did it wrong, don't be afraid to say, that doesn't look right. I'm not going to do it the way she did it, because obviously I'm still learning here as well. Excuse the coughing. So we have created our first folder to show that we're working on the Edmunds Auto website. Under that, we have created another folder to show that, hey, we're working on the price calculators page. Now I'm going to start creating my requirements. This is the new folder button. This is the new requirements button. And those are almost everything that we're going to need here on this particular thing. So we're going to create a new requirement. You'll get this pop-up, and let's go look at our homework. So under the first thing, it says the maximum monthly field accepts a maximum of 14 characters. So the first set of tests is going to be concerning the maximum monthly field, right? So we're going to go back over here, and we're going to say maximum monthly field. This set of tests will be concerned with the maximum monthly, I can't type, payment field. As you see, we're being very general. We are not creating tests yet. So I'm just saying maximum monthly field. That's what we're going to be dealing with here. And then the stuff that's required is the name and the requirement type. It already has the requirement type here. It's undefined. Don't change that. You could fill in here what the priority is, but for purposes of our homework, it's not that big a deal. And then you just say submit. All right, now if you look, I'm going to close this. Now if you look, you see we have successfully created a requirement. We have a folder, a requirement. We want all of our requirements to be under the same folder, which is the auto price calculators page. So we want to make sure that is highlighted. Otherwise, if we try to do a requirement here, it's going to show up nested as a child of the maximum monthly field requirement, and we don't want to do that. You can do a sub requirement under requirement, but I don't want to do that here. As I said, you may choose to do things differently. There is more than one way to skin a cat, as we say, but this is how I do it. So I'm going to just show you what I did. So our next requirement, we're going to go over here and set, is going to deal with the zip code field, blah de blah de blah. All right, so this set of tests is concerned with. And as you see, I'm using the same verbiage throughout. Be consistent with the way you do it, and that way when a new person comes and looks at this, they're going to be able to understand. So this set of tests is concerned with the zip code field. Submit. Now, I'm still in here, so I can do a third requirement here without having to hit close and then go back over here. So you can just keep on going. What's our third set? It's going to be about loan terms, the loan term drop-down list. So let's go over here and say loan term drop-down list. This set of tests will be concerned with the loan term drop-down list. And I still See, there you go. It went to the correct place. And I still haven't created any tests because that's not what we're doing here. I'm the BA. I don't create tests. I let all the little plebeian test people create tests while I'm drinking coffee and hanging out by the water cooler. All right, the next one is the interest rate field only accepts numerals in the form of x.xx. So our next one is going to be the interest rate field. As you can see, same verbiage. This set of tests is concerned with the interest rate field. Submit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've already created 4 requirements. For purposes of our homework, we have to do at least 10 tests. So I'm going to do one more requirement, and then for each of these, we can do positive tests and a negative test for a total of 10 tests. So let's go with the value of your trade-in, amount owed, and cash down payment fields only accept numerals. So our final requirement is going to be amount owed, trade in, cash down payment fields. Okay, because I'm an old lady and I didn't learn texting with all the abbreviated stuff that you see the kids doing nowadays, you'll see that I tend to use almost always complete sentences. When I'm putting in the names of the fields, I'll capitalize them, I'll use my commas, and I'll use my periods because I just like to be complete. You can abbreviate it if you want, but I recommend that you make it as complete as possible because once again, once you are done creating these requirements, you're going to walk away and then the tester is going to come and you want to make sure he or she can completely understand what you have written so there's no confusion. Alright, so submit, and now we may close. Alright, so I, the business analyst, am completely done. I have created my 2 folders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 requirements. I can do a positive and a negative test for each of these, which I will discuss with you later. I cannot remember if I, as the business analyst, or if the tester is supposed to convert the requirements to test. I think the tester is supposed to do it, so I'll leave it until after I sign in as the tester. But that's pretty much it. The only thing we have left to do before we sign off and question 1 is complete is see these little check marks, these little padlocks that are open. That means I have all this stuff checked out. If I were to sign out now and then the tester were to sign on and to attempt to do stuff, they would not be able to work with these because I have them checked out. So I have to check them in. Our check-in button is all the way over here to the right, and in order to check in everything, you can hold down your control key and then click on each field. That way you only have to click check in one time. You don't have to put anything in here, and you click OK. And close. As you see, all the little padlocks have gone away, so I'm a good girl, and now my person can come along and do their job while I'm at the water cooler. So I log out, and I will tell you something, when we try and sign back in as a tester, it's gonna foul, so it's gonna mess up and we'll have to close and restart ALM. So we'll show that on the next video. So this first question is done. You signed on as the BA, you created your requirements, you checked everything back in, and then you sign out. So that's it. I'm going to end this video here because I like to keep it short and sweet and make sure it's in chunks that you can digest. And then I'm going to go take a break for a few minutes, and then I'll get started on the next video. Okay? Bye-bye.